Happy Friday afternoon from Eagle Financial. I'm Jack.
And I'm Bill.
And this is the Bill and Jack Show. Last
the Jack and Bill Show.
Last week we talked about precious metals, gold and silver, the huge breakout that they had made. And this week we had a lot of hope about China trade, and the stock market went up 2% this week after going up 3% last week. So we're now up over 20% on the year on a total return basis, after again S&P having climbed about 2 percentage points this week. It was up fractionally today with the NASDAQ down fractionally. The bond market sold off a little bit as people traded out of bonds yielding 2% or less to jump in on the only game in town, which appears to be the stock market again. So again, we're up about 5% in the last 2 weeks. The markets have been quite volatile. Everybody is, again, we've discussed this before, watching the inverted yield curve. The yield curve remains inverted today, with the 2-year Treasury note yield at 1.59% and the 10-year at about 1.55. Although the Fed is slated to cut interest rates a quarter of a point when they meet. I think it's September the 18th. And I believe we're going to see the yield curve steepen once again. So that's kind of a recap of the market today. But we really have something that we think is kind of more important than the stock market to discuss with you.
We're investment guys, and these videos that we do are investment related. But we want to discuss something that really is more important, and that is investing in your fellow man. We've watched the news of the Hurricane Dorian that swept across the eastern seaboard, sea coast, but really what the devastation that was caused was concentrated in the Bahamas. And we have been in touch with a good friend of ours who is sponsoring individuals there in the Bahamas and is trying to organize financial support. And we wanted to use this opportunity to really just make an appeal to you, our viewers, to not forget and to just do whatever your heart leads you to do to help in this regard.
Yeah, my wife Stacy and I just vacationed in the Bahamas with our dear friends Brad and Susan McClendon, and we visited the Abaco Islands, population about 17,000. There's about 700 of them, I think, there. And specifically, we stayed at a place called Treasure Key, and just a gorgeous place. First time, again, that we've ever been there. And we hope to go back many times. This was the first time. We hadn't been to Costa Rica in quite a while, but we really just very quickly fell in love with the Bahamas and the people there. The Bahamas have a population of about 395,000 people. In 2017, they had a GDP of about 12.2 billion. That's about 1/3 of the smallest state GDP in the United States, Vermont. About 1/3 of, again, the size of the economy of Vermont. They have per capita income that's less than half that of the average American, but they have a lot of very poor people there as well. And just so happens that Stacy and I saw some footage of the damage and destruction that was done to the Abaco Islands, and specifically, we actually saw the building that we stayed in at Treasure Key. We flew into Marsh Harbor and had an hour, 45-minute ride there, and the place where we stayed is pretty much gone, leveled, wiped out. And it's unbelievable, the destruction that's been there. The media has reported, I think so far, about 20 deaths, but it really isn't being reported. I mean, we've heard stories that the numbers will likely climb into the hundreds or higher. So again, our dear friends, the McClendons, Brad McClendon, has organized a way to give through a GoFundMe site that he set up. You can actually find this on Eagle Financial, our website. We put it on there. It's also at he's the head of Living Vine International Ministries. You could go to livingvineinternationalministries.org and hear and see a lot of the footage and posts that Brad and his wife Susan have made about this. They've been, I think, over 20 years in a row, something like that, to the Bahamas. And Brad intends to, they're rounding up a team. They have a couple of friends on the ground there right now, a local guy and another gentleman in ministry down there, and they know what they're going to need. So Brad, I think, intends to fly down there Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. So, we just really want to send them our prayers and our support and our financial support and help the beautiful people of this island nation. And did I leave anything out?
Well, I think, Jack, you raised a very good point about the local inhabitants. Many of them are very poor, and that's probably a misconception that a lot of us have, because we associate the Bahamas with resorts and the rich and the influential, but there are so many people there who don't fit into that category and who are just surviving, living off the tourism industry, which has been decimated, and they are stuck there. These are islands, and they cannot just get in their car and drive away. So those are the people who are in the greatest need. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, I mean, that is offshore banking, and their banking industry's down and out right now too. I think the only currency down there working right now is cash, and probably a lot of bartering. But yeah, they need a lot of resources in there right away to begin the rebuilding project. And again, their main industry is tourism, and they've been devastated. So we wanted to talk about this, and we hope that our viewers will lend a helping hand. And with that, we'll see you next Friday. If anyone has any questions at all financially related, we'd love to entertain that for our next Friday's broadcast. So
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone.